Hey guys, today I'm going to be going over well, not dollar store, actually more like Salvation Army or Value Village or Goodwill finds that I came across and what I'm planning on doing with them. Most of this, actually all of this, has to do with Star Wars builds, so it's going to totally function for 40K purposes as well. It's just, you know, apply it to your army as you see fit. I dropped about $10, but I've got some incredible finds. They're obviously, you know, little kids' toys, but the thing is as terrain builders out there, it's our job to modify either slightly or heavily, whatever it takes to get it to fit the function that you want it to fit. There's an old adage in architecture that form follows function. So if you see a really weird shaped factory or something like that, there's a reason for it, and if you go and you check it out, you'll find out why it's got these weird shoots coming out of it and things like that. This is the same kind of thing. Form follows function. So here we go. This is a garage. I wanted to do, this is actually for, it could be for, my wife is playing a group. The main character is a Jawa, and he is going to have the be-all, end-all compound and wrecker vehicles, and it's going to be really impressive. But this I actually had in mind for building a droid factory. Reason being, I wanted to do a scenario where a production line, as you can see here, this is kind of a production line piece here. I can have things getting fitted out, you know, different droids and whatnot going down this. But the really cool aspect is this aspect here. This can go all the way up to the top. So if I have an open top deck here, the robots can just hop on up here to do fighting. I could have some big tripod lasers or something, but also it can load down one particular level of robots. It can also, if I wanted to have a secondary layer here going out to a deck or whatnot, this could function as that as well. But it's really kind of slick because it goes up and it goes down. It's got good looking gears on it that'll look great when it's dry brushed up. Now there's some funky aspects to this that you can either keep or get rid of, and depending on how clever you are, it can work for you, because these can totally look like diodes. I could cut that piece out, put a special piece in to look like that. I can cut this flashy electric looking piece out with my saws. I mean, this is a good, if you've got a Dremel tool, this is a great tool to cut off things that you just don't want to have on it, like this. Things like with the car face on it, what I would simply do is just card plate over it. These on the bottom are actually really great because they can function as like computer consoles. I would cut a little bit of card to cover up the back, but you know, it looks like you got either a fan or a tire there. It's got a lot of potential. This actually lifts up so things can fall. That lifts up for some odd reason. Not sure how that works. But anyways, this is a really good thing if you're doing something along the lines of Necromunda, or in my case, a droid factory, or any kind of a factory setup. So that's the first thing that I found. I'll give you a little backdrop here. The Jawa runs a wrecking business on Tatooine. It's in between 3 and 4 of the Star Wars series, and there's a little bit of background. I'll tell you the background at the end, but I want to give you some clue of where I'm going with this so this doesn't seem too haphazard. So that's the first one. During one of the fights that happened, their compound was attacked, and inside the compound is the junkyard that they keep. And when they blew a hole and the bounty hunters came through, to stop other bounty hunters coming in later, they took a garbage bulldozer and they just drove it into the hole to keep them out. So what I did was I found something to function along those lines. And obviously it's, you know, kid's toy, but it's got, you know, stuff for garbage, you know, to pile up wrecks and stuff. It's got these huge wheels, which I really like. However, I'm going to use these on something else. I've got two like Vietnam era plastic tanks with tank treads, and what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to cut these wheels off. I'm going to make this appear as if it's floating, and I'm going to modify a lot of other stuff to make it look more futuristic. Probably going to cut this top off, put a plate in there for Jawas to be up on here and running it. Maybe some big engines in the back. It's got a lot of potential, and the scale is just about perfect for 25, 28 millimeter. So this was a heck of a find. By the way, this find here, this one ran me $250. So I get like the centerpiece for a whole factory table for like $250. This was $204, and I'm going to get some big wheels that I'm going to use two of them with one of the tank treads and then two with the other. So with those particular vehicles and these wheels, I'm going to get two extra vehicles out of it, and pretty cool, you know, looking vehicle when I'm done with it. But like 204, and it's huge. I mean, this is like probably twice the size of a Rhino. So this is going to be a really slick kind of thing to work with. That's so I'm not even to $5 yet. Now, one of the things, their primary goal is wrecking. So I wanted to have something where they could carry debris in, because one of the main characters is going to be starting off crashing on the planet, and it just happens to be in the permit zone for picking up wreckage that the Jawa owns. This is another really big vehicle. I could easily cut the wheels off. I could easily take this off and have this function as its own separate piece. Have this piece function as something else. This is a little bit out of scale in the inside here, but I can easily modify that. There's all sorts of possibilities going on, and you can put all sorts of sci-fi bits on it. You could put like gun turrets up there for like defending your scrap. You know, you drive up with this thing, and if somebody's you know, picking away at something that you want, you can fire a couple warning shots and just start salvaging it yourself. This ran for $262. So at this point, we're not even to like, we're at like $750, and we've already got a lot of stuff to work with for combining stuff. You could even combine these wheels up if you wanted to and do like the big wheeled vehicle for the clones. You know, I've got I think they ran 5 wheels aside, but you know, 4 or 5. But here is the real steal of a deal. My jaw hit the floor when I saw this. I'm not even going to throw it up here quite yet. Yes, an aircraft freaking carrier. Now, this is a majorly big model. I'm guessing this is going to be 2 feet long at least. So, this bad boy I picked up for $2.12. It's got all sorts of stuff. It's bolted down. If you can look down in there, it's actually got... it's actually screwed together. I can take this thing apart. I can use the upper part is just plastic plating if I want to. It looks like it's got some nice gear elements to it inside and whatnot. But the way that I'm planning on using this is one of the things that you want to do is if something's really obviously something and it's out of place, you do something to switch it around. So it's very freaking simple. This is going to become her main wreckage vehicle. I'm planning on doing like a big conning tower out of here. I want to run like a crane in the middle for like picking stuff up. This is going to be floating, so they're never even going to really see this, and if they do see it, they'll just see hints of like things that open up for putting stuff inside. I may even open this up and have it multi-leveled, so it's got an interior that you can game in as well. It's just a phenomenal find. I couldn't believe I picked this up for literally $2 in change. But what you're seeing here is for 10 bucks. If I wanted to use that factory piece in with his junkyard, I could easily do that, like junkyards of car crushers. I could use that in a similar fashion along those lines. But it's a crazy big setup here with just tons and tons and tons of gaming potential. I'm having a hard time getting it all in. So that is my find for the day. Now, if you're interested in the backdrop of the story, I'll continue on with that. So, you know, feel free to leave at this time if you're not interested in like Star Wars campaign story. But the Star Wars campaign story that I came up with, I'm going to try and set this up on here, and it's obviously not going to work really well. I'm so sorry, guys. I'll lean down. How's that? Okay, the idea that I had is 4 main characters because I have, this is just too uncomfortable. I have 4, let's see if this works. Okay, this isn't too bad. I have 4 friends that I sometimes game with. It's been a long time, it's actually been like years, but we're planning on getting back together again. And one of the things I want to bring as an option is some Star Wars gameplay, along with some planned D&D gameplay that we're going to be doing. And the story in super short form is this. She is playing a Jawa that's basically a very successful businessman in Tatooine. The rebels have made it difficult for the Empire, so the Empire and the Hutts are kind of both semi-controlling it. The Empire controls the cities. It doesn't even bother with the outskirts. The Hutts pretty much control the outskirts, and the Hutts control the like the black market on Tatooine. And basically, the Jawa has become so successful that the Hutts are now leaning on him for protection money, and they thought he came up short last month, so they killed one of his sons. So that caused him to be not so happy, and there is an underground rebellion on Tatooine called the Free Citizens of Tatooine, or FCT, that's being coordinated by, you know, the indigenous people there, the Sand People, the Jawas. I'm not sure if I want the Pig people there to be Gamorreans, I want to say. I'm not sure if I want to make them part of that indigenous group or not yet. I've got to figure that out. But anyways, so he ends up joining up with the FCT. And so what they did is they sent basically a gang of sand people to work. They act like they work underneath as regular workers at the junkyard, but they're really there to undermine the Empire and cause terrorism, give the Hutts trouble, things like that. Try and start infighting. So they also can act as protection for the Jawa, but their main goal is that they're there to cause havoc and and only when necessary help out the Jawa. Then there is 2 kind of off-worlders that were, I used the same mechanic to put them in, simply because you know, ships are non-functional and crash on Tatooine a lot, apparently, according to the movies. So keeping along with that, there was a Wookiee ship that went down, and when they ended up saving it, I bet you that's a toll-free number again. I'm just going to ignore that. Anyways, sorry about this, guys. Anyways, so what they did is they ended up saving his life. And if you watch the Star Wars video games, Wookiees owe a life debt if you save them. They essentially become like indentured servants or slaves. But the Wookiee pays them well, and so he's not, you know, trying to off the Jawa by any means. And actually he does function as muscle for the Jawa, not only in security, but like if somebody, you know, he does a job for somebody and they don't pay, he will go and collect for him. So that's the third character is the Wookiee. And then the most interesting character is a I don't know if you'd call him a Sith or Dark Jedi or whatever because of the fluff. The fluff aspect I'm going to completely toss to the side and say there can be as many Sith as there are Jedi in my system, just because it's such a problem functionality to deal with. There's only two. Because if there's two of these, they should be able to wipe out any PC characters in the Star Wars universe. And so it makes it just too difficult to work with. But anyways, there was a Sith and a Jedi that were fighting, and the Jedi just managed to get away with his life, and the Sith's ship crash landed, and the Sith has amnesia, and so the Jawa ends up saving him as well, essentially. And a lot of the data is corrupted and whatnot, and so he's going to spend a lot of the game trying to figure out who he was. And he also finds out that he's got an apprentice, and that apprentice is trying to kill him, and the apprentice actually sabotaged his ship, so when those two were going to go meet to duel and whatnot, it actually ended up almost causing him his life. And the story gets more intertwined from there. So he's going to have an apprentice out there who's trying to kill him throughout the game, and he's going to be getting little pieces of information about who he was as the data becomes unscrambled from the wreckage of his ship. And because the Jawa is taking the wreckage of the ship, the Jawa has agreed to take him in to clothe and feed and support him for the wreckage of the vehicle. So that's how it's starting out, and if you're interested in it, I will let you guys know as scenarios happen. I'd like to get things built eventually and actually do live scenario plays of the campaign. The first module has about 5 main battles in it, and I'm going to try and have every one of those done in a tabletop format and actually come up with rules and repercussions for winning and losing as the storyline progresses. So primarily this was about cool stuff that you can find that you can start to convert. Obviously no conversion has happened yet, but a lot of people don't necessarily know how cheap you can get some of these pieces for, and a lot of them have just a ton of potential. So I wanted to bring that to your attention and you know, keep the juices flowing for ideas and you know, kit bashing, what have you. So love you guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you later. Bye bye.